Usually, I really don't know what I'm going to talk about until I get in front of the camera. And then that's when I just start mumbling on. Today, I'm thinking about talking about child obesity. Obviously, child obesity is a very powerful subject. And I honestly believe that child obesity starts with parents. And some of you might criticize me for that, but I believe that's the reality of it is because if parents do their part of it and bring the right food at the beginning to their home, then most likely if the kids are surrounded by good food, they're not going to have a chance to eat anything else or anything different because all they have around them is good food. And when you get hungry, you want to eat. So if the parents bring bad food at the house, then obviously that child is going to eat whatever that is full of sugar and whatever that it tastes good to them. But most people don't realize that good food could also taste very, very delicious. It doesn't have to taste bad. If the parents do their homework and they educate themselves enough about nutrition, then they always will bring the proper type of nutrition or food to their home. And once again, the kid's not going to have a choice but to eat the right type of food because the kids look up to their parents. The kids learn from their parents. If the parents is not doing the right thing, then how are we expecting the kids to do the right thing? And most likely, unfortunately, that kid is going to continue doing those bad habits for the rest of their life. And especially right now, we're talking about nutrition because the parents brought the bad food at home because they say that they were busy, they couldn't cook themselves. Now they're on their way home from work, they're tired, so they just grab something from the pizza restaurant or some kind of a quick fast food place. And then they just basically bring that to the family. And in some cases, I'm not trying to blame the parents. I'm kind of blaming the society more than anything else, that the way they sit and design it for people to work so hard that they don't even have enough time to cook the proper food for their children. That's the bigger, actually, picture. That how do we came to this point? That we are working so many hours, so hard, that we don't even have time to cook for our kids. Do you think it's fair for your kid to learn your bad habit of eating bad habits and then they continue doing it for the rest of their life? Because we know what happens with that situation. Obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol, cancer, and everything else. I mean, that's the bottom line. That's the truth of it is. Comparing to eating organic, non-GMO, plant-based nutrition that or food that are full of nutrition with full of micro and macronutrient, a lot of fruits and vegetables. So those things are very, very important comparing to just eat 2,000 calories of donut or 2,000 calories of cake, for that matter. So I think it's very important to know where your micro and macronutrients are coming from. It's extremely important. And especially if you're already bringing junk and garbage to the house, and the kids are eating that, and those macro and micronutrients are just coming from crappy food, and then people try to realize why they don't have enough energy, why they're dragging, why they can't solve any problems, because nutrition have complete effects to all those areas, including your brain. You know, so think about it this way. The kids are eating garbage at the house. Then they go to school and they're eating even more big-time garbage. And the school cafeteria, they took out PE, physical education, out of schools, so they're not getting any exercises. And then when they go home, they play video games, or they're on their Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and so on and so forth. How are those kids supposed to get healthy? Comparing to if parents do their part of it, and if they bring the right food to the house, and then the kids look up to that parents or that individual. And actually, if the parents go and cook, and the kids will learn all that, and later on down the road, they're going to follow that, as we all look up to our parents. Garbage in, garbage out. I mean, that's the way it works. If you're eating junk and garbage, especially a body that's supposed to be fine-tuned and as complicated as it is, it's like, I usually tell people that if you put regular unleaded in a super unleaded car, it will knock. It always will knock. Sooner or later, you're going to need a valve job, and it'll cause damage to the vehicle. It's the same way with humans. Humans are, it's a very complex system that we have. And if we don't put the right nutrition into our body, it's going to be sluggish. Just like the same thing as I was saying with a vehicle that is high performance, and you just put regular unleaded gas, is going to knock this. So the human body is going to be sluggish and is going to do exactly the same thing. I know organics are expensive than non-organic, which that by itself, it just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Something that they spray with pesticides and inject, which obviously will cost for that, it's more expensive than something that we just don't want them to touch at all. Now that's twice as more expensive. It's not costing them any money for the spraying and injecting, right? So why is it more expensive? All we want you to do is just use good water and grow our food. But you're charging us twice as much more for organic. And when you're spraying and injecting it, you're kind of charging us less. Does that make any sense? Yeah, it makes sense because they're making more money the other way around by spraying and injecting our food. And at the same time, causing issues and problems with our bodies. From one end, they cause the damage to our body, and from the other end, they try to stick a pill down our mouth and tell us that That's the way it is. No, it's not. Everything starts from the food. Everything starts from the ground. So that's very important for parents. Parents, I think, have to, before they even think about having kids, I think they should think about those type of things and change their own bad habits as far as what they're consuming themselves. So that way, when they do have kids, they can relate those good habits to their kids and in a long term, because we're not looking at short term here. I'm talking about a lifetime type of thing. In a long term, that kid's going to be healthy. That kid's going to perform much better in school, in sports, and they're going to start thinking totally different about life as a whole, because when you go and take care of your body and go in the gym and work out, it'll give you confidence as a whole. You will have confidence in many, many different things. People actually respect you. People that are in shape, when you walk by somebody, they usually look at you or smile, or they nod at you, or they always look at you. They admire it. And that gives confidence to individual. Comparing to being 60 pound, 80 pound overweight, try to hide yourself in a corner and not want to be seen by anybody. Or comparing to looking good and actually sort of kind of getting a joy out of people, admiring your body. All those things that I kind of brought up, I think it starts from parenting, right? The core of it. The parents have to start those good habits personally themselves so that could be related to their kids later on. Because in a long-term situation, that kid's not only going to be healthy, its chances of becoming obese or having diabetes or cancer or many other things are less. Just because of their good eating habits. The kids will learn. And then especially even if the parents go and spend time at the gym, or if they don't have the time at the gym, they can do their exercise at home while their kids are sitting there. Or even if they're young, you can keep your eye on the kid while you're doing exercises right in the living room. Watching TV or downloading a good app that have great exercises. So there's so many different ways to build a lifetime habit. It doesn't have to be that difficult. It really doesn't. Because child obesity is, a lot of people are trying to say that it's a disease. It's a disease that the parents create. I mean, that's the truth of it is. It's a disease that the parents creates it. That disease could be solved very easily also. If you bring the right food to your house from the beginning, the kid's not going to have a choice but to eat the good food. But if you're eating junk and garbage and crap, then why or how are we expecting our kids to get in shape or stay in shape? What? We'll just wait until they make enough money so they can make decisions for themselves and when they go and buy grocery? By then, their habit is already out of the door. Their habit has to start when they're young. Their habit has to start with you as parent. You're the one who's going shopping. You have to bring the right food at the house. It has to start from there, so later on down the road, when they stand up on their feet, they will be able to do that. Because good food is expensive. So how are we expect them to go and get good grades or do good in certain sports if the food itself is terrible and horrible. And that habit actually starts from the home, because it sure enough doesn't start in our school. People talking about make America this again, make America that again, make America healthy again. We all simply think that it's all about when you get sick, you pop a pill, which anybody who's been around this fitness long enough know that that's a lie. Food itself is medicine. Food itself is medicine. It can help any part of your organ if you eat the right type of food, especially plant-based. All your macro and micronutrient that is coming from plant-based is just mind-blowing how much energy is in this stuff. Some of the people that I train, I also go shopping with them to make sure that they bring the right food to their home. So there's so many times that I have testimonials from people that they have literally said that they have 30 to 40 times more energy now than they did before they were in the type of food that I set them up with. Not 30 to 40% more, 30 to 40 times more. And this is not something that I've heard from one or two or three or four people, from many, many different people. The problem is that most people are not staying on these, these foods that are powerful for long enough to be able to tell the difference. They do it for a few weeks, and after that, they just walk away from it. They go back into their old habit. But if they stay on it long enough, like I have, since the age of 15 years old, then your body turn into a very fine-tuned machine that as soon as you put something that doesn't belong to it, it makes you sick. You want to throw up. But your body don't even know better because it's used to eating certain type of food all the time. Which it means certain type of food. What I'm saying by that is the fast foods and things that are full of oil and things that are just horrible for you. That it'll just completely clog your arteries. But I guarantee you that if you eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, organic, plant-based, things that has not been processed, things that the way that it comes out of the ground, and if you start taking large amount of antioxidants, from the turmerics and your gingers and your green teas and many, many, many other things that the Creator have given us. And if you stay that path for a few years or even few months, some people are telling me in a matter of 3 days they're seeing results. But if you stay within those paths for a certain amount of time, up in my life, I guarantee you that as soon as then you put some thing that does not belong to your body, some foreign things that would full of oils and junk and garbage, as soon as you do that, you're going to throw up, literally. Or you're going to, feel so bad, feel horrible. That's because your body is rejecting it. But most people, they never experience these things because they don't stay on the good food long enough to be able to see the power of it or the results of it. They don't stick with it long enough. And then it comes back to the child obesity because their parents are not doing the right thing from the beginning. And now the kids, they don't have any, they don't have something good to look up to as far as, because whatever their parents eat, that's what they're going to end up eating. And sooner or later, that same thing starts all over again with the kids. When they get in their parents' age, they're going to do the same thing. So it's the same vicious cycle. I mean, as far as with me go, I can guarantee that it wasn't my parents who helped me with my good eating habit. I did it on my own. 1981, I was 15 years old. We moved from Afghanistan in 1979 due to invasion of Russians. When we came down here, people were very prejudiced at that time. They think they're prejudiced now. At that time, it was just really crazy. So wherever that we went, people were waiting to beat us up. If it was in the bus stop, inside the bus, outside the bus, in the classroom, in the PE, physical education class, everywhere that we went, I had 15 to 20 people waiting to just literally beat me and my brother up or beat me up. That's the way it was. That's how I got involved into fitness, because I get sick and tired of it. I said, I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to teach all of these guys a lesson. They're not going to do that to me. So for me, it was 100% because of bullyism that I got involved into fitness in 1981 when I was 15 years old, and I have never stopped. And that was something that as soon as I put my hand around those bars, because I begged my father to buy me a set of bench. It was a Weider bench with 154 pound of barbell with a plastic weight on it and a 25 pounds of 125-pound dumbbell, actually with two of them, a set of it. And that's how I started it. Locked myself in the basement of my parents' house for years. Didn't know anything about nutrition. Didn't even know anything about fitness. They didn't have YouTube. They didn't have nothing. They didn't have nothing. Even Muscle Fitness was so new at that time. They had these little drawings of pictures that you would get from magazines, and then you order a book, these little small books with these little drawings, and then I would look at that, and then that's how I learned how to train, the beginning. And then reading articles from Muscle Fitness magazines. The only thing they were showing is just the beginning of the exercise and the end of the exercise. That's it. And the rest of it, you have to figure it out on your own. But I had that thirst and hunger that I wanted to learn everything about that industry. It was the end of Arnold Schwarzenegger's time. He just stopped competing and he got involved in the movies, Conan the Barbarian, a couple of years before that. And the first thing I wanted to do is just educate myself about everything there was. So I started studying the Encyclopedia of Arnold, learned the Weider system, Joe Weider, Frank Zane, Lou Frigno, Franco Colombo. Just learned it all on my own, by myself. Learned stretches and every other book, everything that I could get my hand on, because there wasn't a lot of visual. Everything wasn't like a book, and even then, it was very difficult to understand it because there wasn't that many pictures. You would have just had to read it, or there might have been a picture, and you had to figure the rest of it out on your own. So that's how thirsty I was, and that's how I wanted to learn it. And then once when I really find out the power of nutrition, actually, because even then later on, we all were brainwashed by whey protein, whey, and you got to eat a lot of meat, whey. Oh man, all the nutrition is coming from plant-based. Are you guys crazy? All your best macro and micronutrient, your best vitamins and minerals are in the fruits and vegetables. And obviously, if you're eating meat, grass-fed will be the best way to go, So all that stuff, you have to understand that it could be learned from parents if the parents educate themselves properly. But if the parents get up in the morning and drink a cup of coffee, and then they barely eat any food, or just a piece of toast with or something sweet with a donut and just run out. That's what the kid's gonna do. That's just a bad habit, right from the get-go. Because ultimately, I'm sure all the parents who's watching it, they want one thing: to make sure that not only their kid is successful in life, but they're healthy, right? And happy. Because it really doesn't matter how successful a kid is. If they're not healthy, it really doesn't mean nothing. And neither, for the same thing for the parents and for me, or all of us, right? Don't matter how successful we are, how much money we have. If we're not healthy, it doesn't mean nothing. And health starts with food. Health doesn't start with doctor, and health, sure enough, doesn't start with a pill to put it in your mouth. Health or healthy Everything, anything is healthy starts with food. You have to put the healthy food in your body in order to be able to be healthy. It doesn't take a rocket scientist. If that nutrition is full of, that food is full of good nutrition, that's going to help you. It's going to give you more energy. It's going to help you with your thinking process. It's going to help you throughout the day. And on top of that, you really don't even have to eat that much of it because it's got so much nutrition in it. Comparing to going to a fast food place or opening a box that there's nothing in it, but read the back of it, it's been sitting in a freezer for 6 months. What kind of nutritional value you think is going to come out of that? The other day, I had actually appointment or a meeting with one of my photographer. I haven't taken any pictures like 20 years. The last time when I did it, that was my only time taking a professional picture. I did it for a fitness project that I was doing. And now, obviously, because of our website and these fitness projects and products that I'm doing, so I was going to do a little bit of photo shooting. So we kind of planned that up. And the only reason I'm bringing that up is there's a bigger picture into this, not because of photo shooting. We set up an appointment at Starbucks in University of Tampa. You know, I walk up there. As I was sitting, he went to get himself some coffee, and I was just looking around. So there's about 200 students, you know, all probably anywhere from age of, I don't know, in their early 20s, you know, and going to college. And then I'm looking at it. It's like about 9 o'clock, between 9 and 10. So I know they haven't eaten breakfast and they're getting ready to eat their breakfast. So what's the breakfast? A cup of coffee and whatever type of sweet that they had in there, you know. And I look to my right, I look to my left, I look all around everywhere, and pretty much everybody was eating the same thing. All I'm thinking to myself is, okay, so these kids are getting ready to go to the class. How are they supposed to study? How are they supposed to remember things? And how is it possible that this is all they're eating and they are expecting to be in shape? And then I was thinking about that epidemic that, yeah, most of them learn obviously from their parents. When they get up, they do the same thing. Because there was never a structure that was built from the beginning to address those issues. No, when you get up in the morning, you know, you eat your antioxidants and anti-inflammation. Those are all, you know, your turmerics and gingers and green teas and all these great stuff. You can make a shooter out of it. You know, get rid of all the toxics, your probiotics and all that. And then after that, you have a healthy meal full of fruits and vegetables and, you know, and if you're eating meat or egg whites or whatever, something that is good for you and is organic and non-GMO and, you know, plant-based is giving you all the nutrition that your body needs. Not coffee and donut. What is that going to do? Instead of taking all your essentials oils and MCTs and all that stuff that is good for your brain, lubricates the joints, you know, and all the other great stuff, we're eating donuts and coffee. And then lunchtime comes, again, some kind of fast food place, you just grab whatever you can, and then next thing you know, it's nighttime, that's when you kind of actually, I hate to use those words, but that's when you pig out. So, the kids not getting any exercise, they're locked up in a room studying, they're eating garbage, and then we wonder why we're number 20 whatever that we are in the world as far as studying goes. we sure enough are not number one or two. It all starts from food and nutrition. We're so blind that we don't see this because our system has been corrupted and manipulated by certain organizations and people. We have to do the right thing. So, as an adult, so for the youngsters to be able to follow us, you have to build the right path for your kids. You have to build the right blueprint for your kid. You are the adult. The kids are following your footsteps. Don't wait until they're 20 years old and been following your bad habit, and then now you're trying to figure out why your kids have all these medical problems. Why they have these medical issues. The parenting necessarily doesn't mean or starts from you giving them whatever that they want. The parenting starts from you being smart enough to know what your kid is eating, because it's the most important thing to that kid. It's important for them now, and it's going to be important for them in the future. Child obesity it's not a hard problem to solve. And obesity as a whole, it's not that difficult. You just have to make some changes to your lifestyle. Honestly, throughout all the years, the majority of the people that I trained dropped between 40 to 60 pounds in 60 days. And the worst scenario, 90 days. And most of those people had high blood pressure and cholesterol problem. And they were borderline with diabetes. And by the time and that 60 to 90 days when they were done, man, they weren't taking any medication. In some cases, their doctors wanted to know what happened. How did all, their blood pressure and all that drop? Garlic, so powerful. There's so many powerful stuff that is in the food. There's so many great nutrient that is in the food. We're just literally scratching the surface of nutrition. Child obesity is preventable. Parents have to take responsibility of what they're bringing to their home. And the sooner they realize that and they do something about it, the sooner their kids and themselves will have a healthier and a happier lifestyles for many, many years to come, and hopefully without any diseases or cancers or obesity, diabetes, and that kind of stuff. So it's very, very, I think 80% of his food, as I have always said, it's very, very important. What you eat is what you are. So that's my 2 cents. And I'm hoping that at least you picked up 1 or 2 good thing out of all this stuff that I talked about. And most of that is honestly based on the experience of so many years being involved in this industry and helping people. For me, the bigger picture is build a foundation path for families and for children and adults that they will be able to follow safely and effectively for the rest of their life. I hope I did make sense to you guys. I hope I didn't offend anyone. My goal is not to offend people, and always people tell me that they don't have time to work out and so on and so forth, and that's another episode that I will talk about, when you don't have time, how to overcome that, because that's one thing that I always, throughout my career, heard from people. I just don't have the time, and we will talk about that and come up with a game plan with that. But as far as for your children, obesity, or diabetes, or high blood pressure, cholesterol, and all that starts with the parents, and parents have to do their part of it. I hope you enjoy Wade's Corner. Thank you so much for listening to me, and have a wonderful day or night or evening, whatever it is in your time, and looking forward to talking to you guys again. Thank you very much. Hey guys, don't forget to comment, like, and share. Also, make sure to click that subscribe button below, and I will do everything I can to answer it as fast as I can.